it's important in life to know how well we define things. And I want to talk today about how do you define your marriage? Because how you define your marriage is going to be really important to what you're going to see today and what you're going to see in the future. Now, there are two ways that I've discovered, and I'll finish up with a bit of a combination. Two ways to view your marriage. Number one is with imagination and dreams. Now, when Debbie and I first had our first date, April 30th, 1982, we kind of looked at each other as if the other was perfect. And she looked at me that way, I looked at her that way, that this was the girl of my dreams. There was everything about her was perfect. And I think she looked at me in somewhat the same way, that I was strong and focused and determined, and we would create a life together. Later we got engaged, and before we got married on August 27th, actually, if you're listening to this around that time, August 27th, we're celebrating 39 years. But when we got engaged in the spring of 1983, we wisely attended it was called an engagement encounter. It was kind of based on Marriage Encounter, which was a popular thing in those days. And the facilitators asked us a number of questions about, in our future, what did we see? What was important when it came to faith, when it came to decision making, when it came to who would look after the financials, and if you had kids, and we hopefully were going to, and eventually did, how were we going to raise them? And was Debbie going to be stay at home, or was she going to work outside the home? And how was all that going to play out? How would we decide whose career took precedent? And how would we balance that? All of those things were critically important that we discussed them. Some we had discussed in advance. Others we were discussing at the event for the first time. And we found it critically important to take the dreams and expectations and the imagination we had about our future and kind of focus it or put it in a place of reality. Now, there were 4 couples that attended. 2 of the couples, soon after the engagement encounter, decided that maybe this was not the best decision, and they broke off the engagement. The good news is they got married to other people and are happily married to this day. 2 of the couples got married, Debbie and I being one of them, and continue to be married to this day. Because it was important to take the imagination and the dreams that we had, but bring it into a place of reality. Now, one way of looking at our marriage is with our dreams and imaginations. But number 2 is with our history and memory. And if you've been married for a while, you start to develop some history. There are going to be memories that are going to be incredible, and they're going to be high points. But there are also going to be points and places and moments of disappointment and frustration. And if you base your current and future marriage on that history and those memories, it may take away some of the vision that you have for your future marriage. And it can create its own challenges. For example, coming into a marriage, you may have modeled for you an excellent marriage from your parents, but you may have had a negative one. Either of those or both of those, whichever one it was for you, are going to impact how you're going to view your marriage moving forward and how you're going to interpret the things that happen, especially the challenges. Now, I propose kind of a third combination model. Number 1 is that marriage needs to be based in a reality. If there's a challenge, don't try to pretend like it doesn't exist. That's the worst thing. One of the phrases Debbie has in our marriage is, we cover each other, which means we don't broadcast to the whole world the challenges we're facing, but we also don't cover things up and pretend like they're not there. We deal with them, and that has been the most challenging and the most beneficial thing for our marriage, is that we deal with the issues when they come up. And if you have that view of an accurate picture of where your marriage is at today and what the challenge is you're facing, you're going to be able to accurately deal with them. And if you lean into them, you're going to grow and learn, and things will be good moving forward. And one of the things Debbie and I do every year is we attend a marriage retreat, where it gives us an accurate picture of where our marriage is at the moment, but it also gives us an opportunity to dream about what the future is going to be. It deals with the things in the present and gives us a roadmap to move ahead, but it also gives us fuel for the future and what our marriage is going to look like. So it's a combination of the two, that we live in reality, the memory, the experiences that we have, but we also realize we need those dreams, we need that imagination to believe that the future is going to be good as we continue to grow towards it. So just some thoughts about marriage. Hopefully you can take them, discuss them with your spouse, evaluate them, discuss them with friends. Is any of that make sense? I know for Debbie and I, it's been an incredible blessing to walk in those two, but to not let one overtake the other. And I know your marriage will be better for it. Thanks for listening in today.